So you know what I'm really in the mood for right about now? A sackload of seething fanboy rage spurting at my face like some sort of ball-shriveling bukkake storm. So yep, let's do this thing. Let's do an iPhone versus Android face-off fresh for 2022 to see which kind of smartphone might be best for you right now. The good news is, even if you've used nothing but Apple or Android for years and years now, you no longer need to feel tied down. It's easier than ever in 2022 to swap from one platform to the other, helped along considerably by the fact that the apps you use on one will almost certainly be available on the other too. The big exceptions to this rule are of course mostly on Apple's side, so if you find that your mates and your family mostly use the likes of FaceTime and iMessage to stay in touch, then you're probably going to want to stick with iOS. On the other hand, if your inner circle tends to use services like WhatsApp and Telegram, these can be installed on either iOS or Android and they work fine between the two platforms. Albeit with a really annoying backup workaround so you don't lose a lifetime of messages and all those hilarious memes. So enough banging on, which is best for you, an iPhone or one of them Android jobbies? Well, here's my quick 10-minute versus guide, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell. So first up, devices. If you want a flagship phone and you've got the cash to back that up, well, Apple's offerings are now more diverse than ever before. As well as the standard iPhone model, you've also got the Pro and the Pro Max options, which boast an upgraded 120Hz display, as well as improved camera tech with a bonus telephoto sensor. The Pro Max is an absolute whopper if you happen to like them big, or alternatively you've got the iPhone mini, which is, shock surprise, a more dinky version. And those are basically your options, nice and simple, so your main deciding factor is going to be how much cash you've got to spend, whether you like them big or small, and whether you want that upgraded camera tech. On the flip side, with Android, you've got almost too much choice. You've got your Google Pixels, of course, then you've got your Samsungs, your Oppos, your Realmes, your Xiaomis, a ton of stuff. This diversity means you'll definitely need to do a lot more research before you pick your blower, possibly by watching shagloads of techspert videos, hip hip hooray, but it also means you can pick a handset that is ideal for you. Want a headphone jack or expandable storage or dedicated gaming features? Well, none of the current Apple lineup will do the job, but you'll find a buggerload of Android options that work. You can even bag yourself a phone that folds in half if you really fancy it. Now, say you've got considerably less cash to spend on your new smartphones, around £300 to £400. Well, with Android, you've still got buggerloads of choice. You've got the Pixel 4a and 5a, the 6a lingering just on the horizon. Samsung's just spaffed out a couple of new ones as well, including the A53 5G, which I just recently reviewed. You've got the OnePlus Nord 2 and the Nord CE2. You've got offerings from Xiaomi, Realme, Oppo, again, all of the big manufacturers. With Apple, well, you've basically either got to buy an old one, and I'm talking about a really old one because they tend to hold their value remarkably well. Otherwise, you settle for the iPhone SE 2022, and if you've seen my 1 month review, you'll know that that's not a particularly great option either. So basically, your choices are similar to get poked in the eye or get kicked in the cock. And if even 300 or 400 quid is out of your budget, well, you've got no choice at all. You'll need to go Android. In 2022, Android blowers can go for as little as 100 quid or under, although you will likely have to put up with slightly juddery performance, some crappy cameras, and other issues. Next up, customization. Android phones can be customized with your launcher of choice, which can completely switch up the look and feel of that software. Some Apple diehards point to the simplicity of using iPhones as an advantage, but many Androids do come with a built-in simple mode, and some freely available launchers fulfill a similar purpose, making them ideal for older or younger users. Alternatively, you could go for a more complex option or something that streamlines the UI to save you time, whatever you fancy really. As far as customization goes here on the iPhone, well, you can change up the wallpaper and Android also allows you to install apps from outside of the main Google Play Store by downloading APK files if you so desire. On the flip side, however, because Apple keeps such a stranglehold over its app ecosystem, you're less likely to install something dodgy. It's not impossible, but it's a lot less likely. So next up, support, and Apple absolutely walks this round. Because Apple has direct control over all of the iOS hardware as well as the software, it means it can keep all of its devices updated in a timely manner for years post-launch. Of course, occasionally Apple doesn't really seem to bother actually testing its updates before rolling them out, so you may find that an update fixes a few bugs, but then also completely kills your notifications or just stops you from using the internet. On Android, if you want strong support, your best bet is Google. Pixel phones are generally supported for 3 to 4 years with OS and security updates. Although some manufacturers like Samsung, Nokia and OnePlus are also pretty good in this area, offering a similar support window. However, many other manufacturers like Motorola, Xiaomi and Realme generally tend to only offer a couple of years of updates for all of their smartphones, mostly because they release so bloody many, and even then the security patches may be sporadic at best. Oh, and I'm still reviewing smartphones in April 2022 that come with Android 11 slapped on them instead of Android 12, despite the fact that version 12 has been around for like 6 ruddy months already. And I mean, I love nostalgia as much as the next bald YouTube twat, but seriously, come on, sort it out. And when we're talking support, we also have to mention physical stores. Apple has high street stores up and down the country, and yeah, in some regions, of course, maybe a bit of a further trek than you have to go down here in London, but at least they offer that physical support. You can go speak to someone face to face if needed. On the Android side of things, well, Samsung's got a handful of stores scattered about the place, and that's pretty much it. Now, because it's such a hot topic, let's also touch on cameras, and the latest Apple flagships feature very good camera sensors that can capture crisp, detailed and natural looking pics almost any time of day or night. That said, the Pixel 6 phones are better across a range of scenarios, especially in low light, versus those premium priced Apples. And it's the same story with a handful of other Android rivals as well, the likes of the Oppo Find X5 series with the Marisilicon NPU stuffed in there. You got the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, all capable of taking better photo and video in low light environments, especially when it comes to the color reproduction. But this should not be a deal breaker by any means. iPhones will serve anyone really well unless you absolutely have to have dedicated pro controls, in which case, yeah, go Android. As for mid-range options, well, the iPhone SE 2022 features woefully outdated optics compared with the likes of the Pixel A series, the OnePlus Nord 2, the Realme 9 Pro Plus, and dozens of other affordable Androids. So if your budget is limited and you value that camera performance, I would certainly say go Android if you can. Next up, security, and you've got some really smart security features built into both iOS and Android these days, including lots of great privacy features to help you track exactly what your apps are up to at any given moment. To actually unlock your devices, well, iPhones come with Face Unlock alone, or in the case of the SE 2022, just the fingerprint sensor. Android smartphones almost always come with both options, apart from the Pixel phones, which for now use fingerprint sensors alone. You don't have that face recognition built in, but there's lots of rumours that that will be introduced with the next series of Pixel phones. That said, the Face Unlock option can be a bit ropey on Android phones and easily fooled by something like a photograph, while iPhones are much harder to trick. And overall, when it comes to security, I think Apple steals the victory here because not only does it have that closed ecosystem, but also it has the more regular security updates versus a lot of Android smartphones. Now, Android may have claimed victory in more rounds so far versus those iPhones, but Apple does offer up a number of other advantages over its big rivals. So for one, you've got to consider inter-device connectivity. Are you rich enough to own MacBooks and iPads and lots of other Apple gear? Well, in that case, you're probably best off going with an iPhone, as they'll all just communicate more nicely. There's also expandability. The latest premium priced iPhones offer MagSafe expansion, so basically you can slap a MagSafe accessory onto the back end and boost your battery life or what have you. And that sort of modular functionality you won't find in any Android smartphones, certainly none that have been released recently anyway. I also briefly mentioned resale value earlier. Those Apple iPhones tend to hold their value really bloody well, which is really annoying when you want to buy one for a bit cheaper, but it's good news if you've already got one and you want to sell it on or trade it in for a newer model, because it means you'll get a decent bit of cash. There's also Apple TV Plus, of course, if you like your baseball, that most exciting and dynamic of sports. Then there's other things to consider, like do you prefer Siri or the Google Assistant? Personally, I prefer the Google Assistant. I think it's got better functionality, better cross-service support, but of course that's my personal opinion. Some people might prefer Siri because it's generally simpler. And also little things like where you actually live will play a part in your decision as well. So for instance, if you live in America, you'll get more out of your iPhone than if you live here in Byyyeeeee, where a lot of the services still feel kind of half-baked. Now, the Maps app, for instance, especially when you're using it as a sat-nav, just does not feel properly implemented at all here in the UK. Even in London, I find that, I'm only alerted to a traffic camera as I'm actually driving past the bugger, which is really helpful, and it doesn't offer me alternative routes whenever the roads are bollocksed up with loads of traffic. So there you have it. That's my full roundup right now of what's best for you, Apple or Android in 2022 in just 10 minutes. And in fact, by my reckoning, it's just under 9 minutes. So I've got time to go crack open a tinny and a pack of pork scratchings and just chill for a bit. And as you can see, of course, there is no outright victor. There's no easy answer. What might be perfect for one person might be absolutely dreadful for another. It all comes down to personal preference and your own personal circumstances. But now the big question, which do you prefer, iPhone or Android? It'd be great to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Please try and limit the number of 4-letter words you hurl at my face though. Got lots more Androids and no doubt some iPhones to review later in 2022 as well, so please do poke, subscribe and ding that notifications bell to be the first to see all of that shenanigans, and have yourselves a bloody lovely rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you!